So I am Beth Barker. I'm part of the Pedal team. I'm a postdoctoral research associate here. And I'm telling you today about a project that we call the Golden Threads Project. Although I'm the one lucky enough to be talking about it, there's a whole team of people working on this behind the scenes. So it's led by Dr. Christine O'Farrelly. She's a principal research associate with the centre. Then the brilliant Sally Hogg has been very involved. We've got two fantastic PhD students, Tilly Kirby, who's over there, and Morgan Healy. We had an amazing, I'm trying to think of more descriptive words for good. We had an amazing postdoc, Sophie Phillips, she now works in Canada, and a research assistant, Debbie Kwan, who's also a PhD student and is also sat in the room. So that's nice to have everyone here. But I'll be telling you a little bit about it today in the 9 minutes we have until the break.
Sorry.
No, I was fascinated. I wanted to see more videos, so this is fine. I can whiz through it and answer any questions if I need to. So Pedal's work is driven by the aim of providing the research insights for us to help families thrive. And across our projects, we focus on testing parenting interventions in real-world settings, on optimising promising interventions so that they are more responsive to the people and context they'll be implemented in. And Playtime with Books is being spoken about next, is that right? Yeah. So you can hear about that. And we want to find new ways to diffuse evidence-informed parenting support into universal contacts that families have within services and communities. And it's this final aim that the Golden Threads Project really sits within. We aim to identify the common elements of parenting programmes that are effective in supporting mental health in 0 to 5-year-olds through this project. We mostly receive funding from a UKRI Future Leaders Fellowship and also some funding from NHS England for this project. So we know that supporting families to provide responsive and consistent care to their children can make a real difference. And as Caroline's already been saying, evidence-based parenting interventions that are already being used in the system can bring benefits to children and their families. But for various very complicated reasons, there are limits to the number of families that can receive this kind of intensive care. So we hope that through our project, by using a common elements approach, this could be one way to help us reach more families through the system. In this work, we will be working with practitioners and parents to package these golden threads into accessible forms of support, and then eventually testing the feasibility and effectiveness of using these golden threads in universal contacts with families. And we see this work sitting across the services and forms of community support that families commonly access in the early years. So our aim is for the outputs and the innovation produced from this project to be feasible for delivery by professionals in a whole range of early years services, not just those working in highly specialised areas. Okay, so using a common elements approach will allow us to undertake detailed analysis of the strategies and the techniques taught in evidence-based parenting programmes. And from this, we can identify those parenting strategies that are used most frequently in these interventions. And we see these findings as having two key uses in practice. The first is we could optimise existing interventions by highlighting the components where we could turn the volume up, as well as those components where there may be more room for flex to better meet the needs of individual services and families. But mainly, we see a use being about diffusion, so diffusing these elements as standalone golden threads more widely through the system, putting them into the hands of more professionals and the homes of more families. In this work, we're not only looking at the parenting strategies that parents learn in parenting programmes, but also the skills and qualities that practitioners and services bring to deliver the content with quality, and the formats through which these strategies are best delivered to parents. We're accounting for all three of those things. I'm not going to spend too long on this slide, but essentially there are 5 key steps in the Golden Threads project. So we've identified interventions that are effective and have a strong evidence base through a systematic review. We are then gathering detailed materials about each of these interventions and using these materials to conduct really fine-grained common elements analysis to gain an understanding of the key features of each programme. And once we're done, we'll highlight and draw out which features are most common across these interventions. We will then be carrying out a co-production process with parents and practitioners to develop these golden threads into strategies and outputs that best meet the services and needs of families. And we'll finally be mobilising the knowledge gained through this work to feed back on the state of the evidence for decision makers. This was a key starting point for our work, was developing this skills framework, which aims to capture the skills and competencies that shape how parents interact with their children and that can conceivably be enhanced or learned through parenting programmes. So at the centre of our parenting skills model, we have a set of parenting skills focused on nurturing the relationship, supporting children's behaviour and supporting children's skill development. And then we have a set of supporting skills underneath this that relate to the cognitive, social and emotional skills within the parent, which we know play a really important role in parents' own capacity to parent in the way that they would like to. And each of these golden threads we see, this is what we imagine, each of these golden threads that we develop in the project will hang off of specific skills conveyed in this model so that the professionals using them can make decisions about the needs of families and which golden threads may be most beneficial to them. So if I just very quickly go through this. Under nurture the relationship, we have techniques associated with sensitive responding, being able to express warmth and affection, and being a sensitive play partner. Under supporting children's behaviour, we have positive behaviour support, or techniques associated with positive behaviour support, managing more tricky moments in the relationship, and techniques that help parents be proactive and protective in their caregiving. For supporting children's skill development, we have skills that relate to children's socio-emotional development, as well as their skills for learning, cognition and language, and techniques that help parents to develop a sense of independence and autonomy. And then finally, we have techniques related to parents' problem solving, communication, empathy, emotional and behaviour regulation, and their capacity to develop and maintain a sense of self-efficacy. Not going to go through this now, but you can contact me if you want a full version of it. We will be putting that out there in an output soon. Okay, in the time I have left, I just wanted to bring to life to you a bit more the common elements approach. So if we imagine that a parenting intervention is made up of different blocks like this, with each block representing a different strategy that the practitioner might support the parent to use with their child. So naming the child's feelings, giving gentle, loving physical touch, noticing the child's cues and signals, using positive reinforcement, engaging in child-led play. These are all the kinds of element levels that we would be looking for in our analysis. But of course, the reality is that rather than there being one programme offered to families with one set of strategies, there are lots of helpful programmes that come in all shapes and sizes and promote different kinds of techniques for families. But we hope that by looking across these different interventions, we'll be highlighting those ones that are most common and then working with practitioners and parents to explore how these golden threads could be developed into standalone, simple techniques that can feasibly be integrated into the universal contacts already taking place with families. I'm not going to have time to go through these, but I can... Oh, it's being recorded. It's fine. You can watch it in your spare time. You can just see these and pause here. But these are just some examples of these kind of very simple, bite-sized golden threads that we're already seeing in our analysis. We're not through it yet. We're not done. But it's just to give you a flavour of the fact that they're very light touch and simple and flexible. This is actually really important for me to finish on, so I do have to run through this. Just some caveats to common elements. So This project aims to reach those families who are not being offered evidence-based intensive interventions. So in this way, common elements are a complement to evidence-based interventions. They're not a replacement. Also, packaging the golden threads into simple techniques that could be delivered across the system does not replace the need for skilled practitioners who are providing comprehensive support, especially to the most vulnerable families. And these golden threads are being removed from the packaging of a comprehensive evidence-based programme. And because of this, we can say that they are informed by the evidence, but they're not evidence-based in and of themselves. And this is why it's really important for us to first test how they work in practice to understand how they might be most impactful. I'm not going to run through this, but essentially we've done a systematic review. We have nearly 300 papers that went into the systematic review, and these relate to about 30 manualised interventions. So we're currently undertaking really, really detailed analysis of each of those interventions, and then we'll move on to the co-production and output stage. And our outputs will be very much shaped by what families and services say they want. So we're very open-minded in terms of what format. Is it going to be a website? Is it going to be an app? Is it going to be whatever people want. So we're fairly open-minded, but for now we're just in the process of analysis. And I've eaten into 1 minute of refreshment time, I'm afraid. But thank you very much.